Hello, hello. Today is Wednesday, and I'm here to bring you another installment of Whip It Up Wednesday. Sometimes we don't have a lot of time for making a big, complicated card. Sometimes that's midweek. If you're working or you have appointments going on, you need a quick card. So today we're going to whip up something special. In fact, it's going to be totally awesome. So let me turn the camera around and show you what we're going to do today. There we go. Let me straighten it out and we'll hide my banner so you can see more of my desk. So today I am using the stamp set Turtley Awesome. Stampin' Up! Loves their puns, and it coordinates with a lot of things in the suite called Turtley Cute. One of those things is the wonderful designer series paper, or DSP as we sometimes like to call it. And this is going to be super quick and easy because you have so many different images to choose from here. And we're basically going to use images from the DSP plus a sentiment from here. But of course, you can do some stamping if you want to kick it up a little bit. Other elements or products in this suite can be found on page 49 in the 2025 to 26 annual catalog. And on page 49, 48 and 49, you will see all the products that coordinate with the stamp set. We have dies, embossing folders, ribbon, and embellishments, and you can kind of go nuts. So when you have more time, then you can go ahead and play with those as well. If you're a scrapbooker, there are some coordinating products. Two-tone paper. There's another stamp set that has some sentiments, large for scrapbooking, totally sweet. And there's a collection of this designer series paper that also includes a sheet of stickers that you can use on your scrapbook pages. So you have something for everyone on this collection. So here are the dies and the embossing folder and the embellishments that coordinate with this. But we're not going to use those today because we're keeping it simple as we're whipping up a card real quick. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with a card base that is 11 by 4¼ scored at 5½. Now you can go the other way if you like. I just like to mix it up a little bit. If you want to cut 8½ by 5½, that's all fine. Just sometimes I like to just have a different fold. This kind of keeps things interesting, you might say. Let's press that with our bone folder. And then we will need 2 pieces at 5½ by 4, a white piece for the inside and a piece of designer series paper that's going to be for the outside. Now you want something that's just going to be a background. The other side has these fun, cute little turtles, which are hard to cover up, but we're going to use the back side so we can have this as our background design. So let me take a quick minute and see, I almost opened it the other way because I'm so used to that. So I'm going to glue the white piece down on the inside and get that out of the way. Real quick, there we go. My card base today is, there's a hint, Darling Duckling, one of the new in colors. Isn't that so cute? I have my little friend here watching me. So we are going to then have this as our background. I like to kind of lay out my whole card before I commit to actually gluing it all together. So I might have some other color decisions to make here, or maybe I'll change my mind and use a different background. But this designer paper has images where these cute little turtles are doing a lot of different things. I thought this one might be fun for summer. We have somebody grilling. We have somebody's, looks like she's been at the beach or a spa, has a cocktail, and another one of these guys has his inner tube and snorkel and swimmies on. So that could be fun for summer. That's what I'm going to try today. But you can also use these cute little turtles that are out in nature. Take gardening, bird watching, beekeeping, or perhaps you're in a birthday mood. These little guys are celebrating with cake and ice cream and balloons. And these guys are doing picnicky things, biking, eating ice cream, good old summertime. Got some watermelons and birds in there. And perhaps there's a musician in your family. Here you go. You have accordion and drummer and banjo and trumpet player and even a little keyboard. Oh, no, that's the keyboards on the accordion there. Oh, got a big bass drum. Hey, and so, of course, the backs are nice for backgrounds, too. You have some generic and you have some that are turtle-inspired, the turtle shell designs there. Okay, and if you want to just have a little background that you can create a little scene with these guys, you can cut these off to card size and just kind of have a go at that. So that could be fun, too. I'm using the summary one. It makes me think of a good Father's Day card, or summer could be graduation, time to have fun. It could be a teacher card, time to enjoy the summer. So let's get started here. I'm using my circle punches. I have 3 sizes, 2 3/8. I have 2 inches. Oh, you can see my camera in there. Okay, 2 3/8, and then I have 1 3/4. So we're going to layer them. I'm going to make 2 of them one size and another one the third size. So this is going to be my background. So I'm going to just put that one aside for a moment, and I'm going to cut 2 at the 2 inch and 1 at the 1 3/4. So this makes it real easy. Even though this comes with dies, if you don't have time to take out your die cut machine and go at it, then just take some circle punches. All right, I want this little this guy here that's drilling. Now, sometimes I have to cut this down a little bit to make the punch get in there. So I'm going to find the place that's closest to the edge of the paper, which looks like this one, so I don't have to cut quite so much. And I'm going to see if this works here. Just try to get my punch in there. And I think my 1 3/4 punch could work for this guy. I still get the cap and the apron and the spatula. But if I didn't want to kind of cut that away, what I like to do is I've made templates with just some plain paper. I cut out my 1 3/4 and my 2 inch and my 2 3/8. So I can use that to see what's going to fit. All right, because I want different sizes on the front here, I'm thinking maybe that guy would work best. See, I'm just kind of lining up and seeing what that would cut out. So my 2 inch, I think, might work better for this little lady here to get her little turban and her glasses and her drink. So I'll cut her with a 2 inch. And okay, this would probably look a little better with the 2 inch, but I do think I prefer having this guy with the 2 inch. So I'm going to use my 1 3/4 inch for this gentleman here who's barbecuing, because we still get the essence of what he's doing. Okay, we got that. All right, we have that guy. Okay, if I wanted, I could cut out the grill as well, perhaps, but I'm just going to go with the faces. So there's one, and then I'm going to make a background layer for that in a little bit. So let me cut out my other ones here. This one here is kind of close to the end, so I'm going to try my 2 inch circle punch to get her. Let me see how far in I have to go. I'm going to have to go just a little further in. So I'm going to cut around this grill because I might want to use that for something else later. I might have to cut this guy's feet off. So just trying to make the most of this paper here. I know I won't need the bottom of her. I do like that little crab, but he's going to get cut off. So I'm going to make sure I get that cool drink that she has. I'm going to line it up in a way to get the most of what is going on there. and give that a punch. Now I have 2 of these little critters ready to celebrate summer. And then let's find a good way to cut this guy. I love him with the inner tube and the swimmies and the snorkel. And I think I can grab him just like that. I think that's going to be very cute. Okay, so that's my 2-inch. Now I'm going to take my scraps of different colors that coordinate here and see what will work best with these pieces that I just cut out. So let me bring in my scraps. I was thinking perhaps just going all with the greens, but I did bring in my Darling Duckling and some red to see what will work best. So that's why I didn't fully glue this down yet. I just wanted to make sure that all my colors are going to work. So for the 2-inch circles I cut out, I'm going to need my 2 3/8 circle punch. Let me cut one of those and see, I think that looks really cute on there. So that's going to be 1 circle. And then let's see, maybe this guy would look good on the shaded spruce, and that's a smaller one, so I'm going to use my 2-inch circle to match that one. Okay, so that looks really cute. I think anything could work, really. And then there is garden green if we want to keep all to green, or we can bring in a red. That could be fun. Let's see how that looks. And then I have 2 3/8 circle for that one. Will this fit? Yep. Love using my scraps up that way. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so that brings in a little bit more color. So I kind of like using the red there. So let's go and put this all together. One thing that I like to do, you can perfectly center your images on the background circle, but to make it a little bit more fun and less stress-free, I like to kind of make them a little offset. It gives it a little bit more whimsical look. So we're just going to glue those on, especially if you're in a rush. You don't want to have to fuss. Don't worry about getting it all straight. Make it off-centered on purpose. Now let's see how I want to put this on here. I might want to go this route here. Maybe something like that. Maybe I'll put this one down here. So that will determine which direction I offset my circles. That guy's there, that guy's there. So that could be cute. So my idea is to put my sentiment across here. I'm going to have hooray, because it's like hooray, it's summer, or hooray for Father's Day, or hooray for having a great school year, or something like that. So let's see. Maybe I'll put this guy down here. I don't know. And pop this one up, because I might want to, there's a lot of white space there. So I might just go this route instead. Okay, that way those aren't quite in line. All right, so I'm going to move this one this way when I glue him down. Okay, I love that little crescent look around there. I don't have to worry. And this one I might just go upward a little bit. Kind of northwest, you might say, because that way it would be just a little bit different. And I could cover that up with that and still get a lot of that covered there. All right, so now I'm ready to glue this down. I like how that looks. Glue that in there. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I have strips galore in white, and I'm going to see what fits best with the hooray. So I pulled out some shaded spruce, a nice dark green that will coordinate with that. And let's see, my 3/4 might be a little tight. So I'm thinking maybe cutting my 1 inch down. That's a little too much. I think I'll cut that down just a little bit. And let's see how much I would need that. So maybe, let's cut 3 inches long. It can be any length. You can always trim it down later. And then, so instead of 1 inch, instead of 3/4, I'm going to go 7/8. Sometimes that 1/8 of an inch makes a huge difference, right? And I love the Stampin' Up! Trimmer to be able to get such precise cuts up there, and those little thin strips come out just right. Okay, that looks really good there. I'm going to stamp this right in the middle, and then I'll decide how I want to trim it down. Actually, you know what? I think I will just go right to the edge. Okay, here we go. Looks great. I love that nice dark color of the shaded spruce. So let's lay out the card and see how this is going to look. She's like saying, hooray. And this way, my hooray will hide those feet from somebody else over there. And then we'll have this here. It's like, hooray, it's summer, some time for fun. Maybe it's vacation time. All right. So, all right, now I'm going to just trim this part down over here. And time to glue it all down. So this is going to get glued down. This is getting glued down. These two things will be up on dimensionals. Of course, have to have some dimensionals in there. That's a quick, easy way to make a card special, right? And that's what we're all about, whipping it up on Wednesday. Okay, and I want to purposely not have it exactly in line here. I like the random look of it. And then that will fit over there like that. So let's get those dimensionals out. Love my dimensionals. Don't you love just starting a whole new sheet? Like, wow, the possibilities. 4 there. I think I'll do 3 here. 2 might work, but why chance it? If you have trouble getting the edges, I like to just pop my thumb in there and it pops up the edge. It kind of bends the backing and makes it easy to pull off. Although I usually don't have much of a problem, but every once in a while. Usually I just run my thumb across the edge and it comes right up. Okay, except sometimes when it sticks. And meanwhile, just poke your thumbnail in there and the edge pops up. Easy to pull. Okay, so let's go here. And then this is our card. This is one I did before. Hope your birthday is totally awesome. So those are some quick and easy cards for Whip It Up Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, and I hope you whip up some great cards as well. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.